Hello everyone, Noreen here. Today I'm with Khun Sears for another special episode of In Conversation With, and today we're going to be diving into the topic of hotel investing, developing, particularly focusing in on Thailand. We had the pleasure to meet in Fist a couple of weeks, months ago now. Time flies by so quickly. So thank you so much for joining me here today.
It's a pleasure, and thank you for having me.
So yeah, tell us about yourself, firstly.
Yeah, so first and foremost, I'm a local Phuket family. So I'm born here, but in the last 10 or so years, I've been studying abroad. So I moved to Singapore to continue my studies, my middle and high school, since I was 13. And then I went on to pursue my hospitality degree from Switzerland, which is the Laos Crown Montana Global Hospitality Education, where I also had a chance to do my internships in Hong Kong, actually. So two of the Marriott properties in Hong Kong. One is the Le Méridien Cyberport, Hong Kong, and the second one is the famous W Hong Kong. And I recently just graduated from Cornell with another hospitality degree, a master's degree in hospitality. Yeah, so my family, we've been in the industry for quite a while. We've been here for 30 or so years, where recently I just been appointed on two positions in two different associations in Phuket, which first is the Phuket Hotels Association as an advisory board member, where we're looking after around 80 to 90 members within Phuket. And another one is the vice president of the Thai Hotels Association Southern Chapter, where we look after 14 provinces in Thailand, which has around over 1,000 members. Also, yeah, and now I'm back looking after the family business, spearheading the company where we recently opened the 4 Points by Sheraton Phuket Patong Beach Resort, a 600 rooms resort, which is managed and operated by Marriott International, where we opened during the pandemic, actually in October 2020. So yeah, it's been a challenging year, challenging times for us.
Wow, what a entry.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Thank you so much for that introduction. And yeah, clearly you were meant to be in hospitality. I find that when you have family who are in the industry, you either go one of two ways. You either you stay with it and you really are,
Right.
a real advocate for it, or you go the other way and you don't want to have anything to do with it.
Exactly.
So what made you choose to, yeah, obviously embrace
Yeah.
hospitality?
So as I said, I'm kind of born and raised into a hotel family, right? So my grandfather he actually started from goldsmith and real estate. So where our ancestors is obviously from China, and we moved to Phuket, where all the typical Chinese family, the first business when we come into Thailand, it's gold, right? Goldsmith. As you see in Chinatown in Bangkok and everywhere, it's always gold. And then as tourism kind of started to boom, my grandfather was a pioneer and got into real estate. And in 1997, no, yeah, 1997, so he introduced an international brand operator into Phuket. So he was the first local Phuket investor to bring an international brand into Phuket, where at that time, no one had an idea what international brand was. So no one had a clue, but he was an innovator. He was a disruptor where he always wanted to differentiate himself from his competitors, differentiate his business model, and yeah, came up with wanting to partner with international brand. But while today we are partnering with Marriott International, so before in the past where my grandfather started everything, that was kind of as a big Chinese family. But now as the family gets bigger, everyone has their own strategy, has their own business models. His sister wanted to do like an independent hotel, another wanted to partner with another operator. Well, for us today, we wanted to continue our partnership, started our partnership and continued that path with Marriott International. So we decided to open the 4 Points by Sheraton in Patong Beach, a 600 rooms resort, where, to be very honest, as I mentioned, that we opened the hotel during COVID. So a lot of people kind of doubted us because it was kind of tough with the scenarios and everything that's happening because Phuket as a destination has quite a high dependency on international travel. But then with us, we believed in our property, our product. We believed in our partnership with Marriott International, and we believed in the talent and the skills of our property team, which we trusted that we will make it work, and we stick to our date that we will open on the 1st of October. And with all the dedication and strive from ourselves as the owners, the partner with Marriott, as well as the property team, made the last 4 years. So we just celebrated the 4th anniversary on the 1st of October. So we have won quite a numerous awards actually. So on a whether it's a nationwide, on a regional basis, and on a global scale. So our general manager and sales leader, we recently won the global 4 Points brand as a GM of the year and as well as sales leader of the year. And we recently got the Hotel of the Year award from Marriott International Asia Pacific. So yeah, some highlights for us from the hotel.
Amazing. Yeah, so the hard work is clearly
Yes.
paying off.
So
So I was just curious, as I said, mentioned my curiosity lets me run the show sometimes. During those moments, you said you had the trust in your team in the destination, but how do you hold on to the faith? And as you're saying, there's always going to be lots of different voices coming at you, lots of different stakeholders will have various different opinions. How do you hold on to that belief that, you've made the right investment, this is the right property? For that location, for that investment, and really believe in it. And obviously, it's resulted in that. But at that moment in time, obviously, you don't know what the future is going to look like. So how do you have that resolve to carry on?
there's only one word is believe because, like you said, we don't know at the end of the tunnel what result would it turn out. But at the end of the day, if we tried our best, we put our best. Because for us, we invested in the hotel, not just in terms of the capital, but it's also our heart into the business. We're there at the hotel every day to support our team to make sure every they had that mental support from us as an owner as well. So we just believe that they will do their very best to achieve the results. And I think I mean it's you can't really expect whether it's gonna turn out great, but if you have that commitment and strive to make it right, I think that will turn out as a success.
Yeah, it's that commitment, right? And that
Yes.
commitment in investment. And I think with any investment, particularly in real estate as well, it's you're in it for the long game, right? It's not just something that's going to turn around overnight. And it
Right.
sounds like you're quite involved, as an owner, quite hands-on in the operations of the business as well. So tell us a little bit about, how you look at things from an owner perspective, but also having quite, an oversight on the operations as well.
Yeah, so I mean, we look from an owner's perspective, right? Although as much as we looked at a bigger picture, whether it's from your financial performance and all that stuff, but it is also important to also because as a hotel industry, it's a people's business, and at the end of the day, you need to also take care of your associates and making sure that their well, as much as they're working for us, but their well-being is always taken care of, and yeah, they're being anything that's needed from them is being delivered.
I'm so glad you said that. And actually, the first thing that you said was actually looking after your team and take their well-being is taken care of. Because I think historically, I've also, studied in hospitality, it's like they feed it down. You're like the customer, the customer, the customer, you have to look after them. But it's so refreshing to hear, from your perspective and also, looking at from an owner's perspective is that you've got an eye not only on the financial performance but also on, the well-being of your employees, because, if they're well looked after and if they're happy and they feel like you're invested in them, they will then feel like very comfortable, and then they will automatically
Right.
deliver a fantastic service to
Yes.
the guests as well.
Yes. 100%.
Thank you very much for sharing that. That was very, very refreshing to hear.
Yeah.
So as you know, you've now had this hotel open now for 4 years, and if someone else is listening to this and thinking about investing into a hotel in Thailand or say in Phuket, what advice would you have, or what learnings have you had from these last 4 years? I mean, you opened in October, but I'm sure the development took a lot longer than that. So this journey
Yes.
must have been a lot longer than this.
Development was also another 4 years. Yep. So it's kind of been quite a long journey, nearly a decade since we started the development stage.
Wow, yeah. So what have you learned from this decade of building, but then also
Yeah.
now running the hotel?
So hotel development, right? It's about patience, where as an investing in hotels, you can't really expect that you'll get your returns on your investment within 2 or 3 years, especially for us, where as an owner, we classify ourselves as a long time to a lifetime asset holder, where we don't really have an exit strategy. Uh, While there are many other type of investors or owners out there who are more like a short to medium term investor, asset holder who has their exit strategy to once the asset the value kind of increase and reach a certain level, they would have an exit strategy to sell the hotel as an exit strategy for profit or whatsoever. Yeah, but for us as a lifetime asset holder who's committed to the hotel as well as passing on this asset as a legacy to the future generation, I just believe that Thailand as a destination has a high potential. Where last year, three of the provinces in Thailand has been ranked as one of the most visited cities in the world, where with Bangkok, Phuket, and Pattaya. As well from as well as from a tourism numbers perspective, although like 2019 tourism total arrivals is expected to be little higher than the full year or end of year for 2024. But in terms of tourism revenue, I'm pretty sure that 2024 would be 2019. Where today they're forecasting that 2024 would reach around 3.5 trillion, while 2019 was sitting at 2 trillion. So maybe that's also from inflationary pressures and the cost of living that's increased, but we can kind of see that the revenue has increased. And from another investment perspective, the interest rates in Thailand has decreased by 0.25 basis, as well as inflation rate also decreased with an increase in economic growth. So I see the great potential in investing in Thailand and continue to invest in Thailand there's a lot of bigger players, whether it's on a on a countrywide or international level that has been quite interested in investing in Thailand. So I'm pretty sure that hospitality will play a big role in Thailand, especially around 20% of the country's GDP is dependent on tourism, where hospitality obviously plays a huge role in that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot
So
of your
it will
GDP.
definitely steer the economy.
Yeah, that's a lot of the GDP that's dependent on tourism and hospitality. And I guess, was that what inspired you to then take on your two additional roles that you have, one with the Phuket Hotel Association and then the Thai Hotel Association as well? Is it to represent, to steer, like what are your hopes, or what is the associations looking to do to support the industry?
Yeah, so I mean, personally, why I took those two roles is also because as a local family, I believe that myself as a local, I should do something to help Phuket grow with a sustainable growth, as well as bet provide a better living for the locals as well. So it's also supporting international business as much as supporting the local people who have been living here from generation to generation. So it's supporting both ends and finding a balance between the new world of investment as well as for the people who's been here.
Absolutely, you're right. I mean, I think, tourism is, it generates economy, right? It generates income for families, it provides a source of living. So I think we definitely have that responsibility towards the people that we're, in our environment, right? In our surroundings and making sure that we're taking care of them. And I think, when we start thinking about the relationships, right, between all the various stakeholders, everyone has a part to play. So how do you manage all the various relationships, whether it's with the owners, obviously yourself, the like other stakeholders like the brands, but then also the employees and then customers. So it must be like playing lots of different roles in that case.
It's about finding a mutual interest. At the end of the day, what everyone wants is the better for the island, right? If the island benefits in terms with tourism, with more people visiting Phuket, everyone would benefit. Every stakeholder would benefit, whether it's the government official, whether it's investors like us, and whether it's the brand. So at the end of the day, if we are committed to do what is best for the province, everyone would win.
Yeah, and that reminds me, it's about finding that purpose, right? That purpose, that reason that really brings everyone together. And when you know that that is where the place that you're coming from with whatever decision that you make, whatever
Yes.
choices that you make, whatever, ways that you decide to move forward, having that common ground, you're absolutely right, is very
Yes.
important. And for everyone to understand and get on board
Yeah.
with that as well.
And just one more point, and the locals would also win because
Yes.
even with more tourism, the retail stores and or even the markets, people would visit, and that would stimulate the economy, bringing in more cash flow into the province.
Mhm. So, unlike some cities here in Europe where people are protesting against the tourists, it sounds like places like Phuket are inviting and welcoming the tourists because we recognize the value that tourism can bring, the economies that it can generate, and how it can benefit the local economy too.
Yep.
Okay, so I can see we're getting carried away with the time. So I'm going to move on to my final question and ask you who inspires you. I mean, clearly you were mentioning your grandfather earlier being a real pioneer. Is he your inspiration, or are there others who've also inspired you?
Definitely, he is my inspiration. As much as I met a lot of great leaders along the way, whether it's an industry peers or people within the association and many industry experts, but I believe my grandfather is my inspiration, where he was obviously he's the one who kind of indirectly invited me into this industry. So yeah, and as I said, he's a pioneer in the goldsmith industry, in the real estate industry, as well in the hotel industry. And he taught me a lot of lessons where one of the most valuable lessons which he said was um it's a so in this world, anything that has been taken away, you can't kind of take it back, right? But there are two things that you need in life in order to succeed. It's about your knowledge and personal branding. Having these two will bring you anywhere you can direct your own self. Yeah.
Oh, that's brilliant. I mean, yes, knowledge I think has always been powerful, but the fact that he was talking about personal branding before it
Yeah.
became a buzzword.
Yeah, exactly. So that's been quite some time ago. So like I said, he's an innovator, right? He always think different from the people and he always differentiate himself.
Well, that's a fantastic role model to have grown up with, and clearly it's had an impact on you. So thank you so much for sharing, and thank you for having this conversation with me today.
Thank you so much. Thank you for inviting me, and it's a pleasure.